What came into being in him was life, and that life was the light of all people. When I was young ones, it's maybe what it's like for you now, I don't know. When I was young, Christmas morning was the brightest morning of the year in our house. And it was that so for a very simple reason, not because it was sunny outside. We lived in Pittsburgh, and it's always cloudy there, especially in the winter. It was bright because this was the one morning of the year when my father got out the old reel-to-reel camera he bought years ago when they made their first trip across this country, when they moved here from England. He bought a video camera to video their travels, and he got it out every Christmas to film Christmas morning when me and my sister were young. He'd go downstairs. We'd have to wait till he got the camera set up and all the lights the camera needed and the reflective panels to make the place shine. And as we waited at the top of the stairs on the second level of the house and watched the downstairs, we could see just around the corner, not what was in there, but the light. We watched as the light grew brighter and brighter, and the time got later and later. It seemed like it took hours to set the camera up for Christmas morning, although I'm sure it only took 5 minutes. And then my father, being English, as all my family is, decided that no one could have had Christmas without first you had a cup of tea. So he would set the cameras up and have the lights going, bring tea up to my mother in the bedroom with some cookies that she'd made the day before typically, and they would have tea while my sister and I waited. I was about 7, my sister was 3, if I remember this day. They would have tea while we waited, and all we could see downstairs around the shadows was that light. And we would come downstairs, and in good years there would be lots of presents. Some years there would be fewer, but there was always the camera, always the Christmas tree, always the train under the tree, and always all that bright light shining. My father isn't a particularly religious man, who is a particularly good man, a good churchman for many years. And so I don't know if he knew just how appropriate it is for Christmas morning to be a day full of more light than any other day of the year. And today's gospel, which is always the gospel we read Christmas morning if we have a service, and the gospel we always read the first Sunday after Christmas, this opening to the Gospel of John, that part of the Bible that got more commentary and study and attention for centuries than any other piece of the whole gospel, any other part of the Bible, probably besides Genesis. The opening of Genesis, to which this is a counterpoint, is all about our learning to understand how a word becomes a person that is full of the brightest light that ever shone and shines in and through and behind and below the darkness that it challenges and must make sure never to fall to as time goes by. Ladies, was Christmas a bright day for you 3? Christmas good this year? Everybody happy? Lights on, cameras flashing, tree be lit. Everybody got presents? You get what you want? You get what you want? You get what you want? Anybody? Y'all get what you want? Thou shalt be talk to him like. We don't want to make a mistake. It's just like in school, but worse, because he's wearing robes. Everybody get what you wanted for Christmas? Good. I'm glad. I wanted peace on earth and it to warm up. I didn't get those things. My sons are home and happy. I got those things. My wife is home and happy. I got that. That's good. My parents are healthy mostly. Got that. That was good. As you get older, you want things that are hard to wrap under a tree. And sometimes you want impossible things, right? And that's the beauty of Christmas and the light of Christ becoming into the world in a new way, and the giving of gifts to children, and giving that greatest of gifts of all, which is when the child learns to give gifts back. Do y'all make things at school and give your mom and everybody at Christmas time? You still do that? That's nice. See, I like that. I like that, yeah. My son, I was surprised at the first time he ever gave me a gift. No, his mother didn't prompt him to do this Christmas, and that was yet one more sign of that young man's maturity. on both sides of it. That's anyway. It's appropriate that the time of gift giving and the time of the light coming into the world and our celebrating, filling our homes with light, on a tree, on candles, and whatever it may be, even the camera lights my father used back when I was young, instills in the mind, instills in the eyes what this is really all about. The story we hear takes place involving a manger and a young woman and a man and a place of poverty and a donkey and shepherds and all the rest. But as they wrote this part of their Bibles, they wrote this gospel down, the authors of John said, what does it really mean? What did this life, this young person who died young as a young man, really mean when it was all over? And they said, first of all, it's not all over. He lives on. Second of all, what it means is you got to see with your own eyes and now hear with our own ears what it means for God, who is light, who is love, and who is joy, to come into the world shining as light shines in darkness. The light does not become the darkness. It cannot. It cannot always dispel all the darkness. But what the writers of John knew was that the darkness did not overcome the light. And if there's one thing I most want at Christmas that God can give, and that we can give each other as the people of God, it's to make sure that we shine brightly enough, together enough, strongly enough, to dispel darkness where we can, but also and even more so to make sure the darkness does not overwhelm any of our lights. I don't know how much evil you faced in the people and institutions and other things you've dealt with in your life. I don't know how much darkness from human beings and what they can do has come into your world. I've faced some dark things. Some evil people still do. And I have to pray that the light of God and the love of God can shine through me so their darkness, their wickedness does not overwhelm me. Their bitterness does not embitter me. Their anger does not enrage me. Their lies do not turn me into someone who trusts no one and is drawn to the power of deceit. It isn't easy. God never said it would be easy to be, to shine, to live as He did and as we must. But He always said it would be good. And the promise of John that the light would be the life of the world and the darkness would not overcome it is one thing that will come true if we work to make it true much more easily. All must do so. All must make sure that the light that is the love of God incarnate in Christ and alive in the people of God is what shines through us to a world desperately in need of it. As I teach my students often, we may not be able to change the hearts, the desiccated hearts of the wickedest people in the world, but we can bear witness to others who see them as we do, that wickedness and darkness is not the last word, that the power of the light and love of God, the power of human goodness, the power of kindness, of compassion, of humility, and all the rest is stronger and better and makes a better world than all that the darkness can try to do. It's on that power that I find I must rely. And the memory of being 7 years old and watched the downstairs at my parents' home, and my whole time filled with the light of the camera bulbs that would shine as we videotaped Christmas morning, is a good picture to have in my head whenever I need to see where the lights turn on. May the light of Christ shine as brightly as it can in your life and through you to all those in your world this Christmas and always. Amen.
Amen.